Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mutiara Febrianti. I'm from class B. And so I will explain about the author's drama Romeo and Juliet. Biography of the writer William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is widely regarded as one of the greatest writers in the English language. He was born on or around 23 April 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon. The eldest son of John Shakespeare, a prosperous grover and local dignitary, and Mary Arden, the daughter of a wealthy farmer. There are no records of William's education, but he probably went to King's New School, a reputable Stratford grammar school, where he would have learned Latin, Greek, theology, and rhetoric, and may have had a Catholic upbringing. He may also have seen plays by the traveling theatre group touring Stratford in the 50s, 16, and 17. At 80, William married Annie Hathaway, and the couple had 3 children over the next few years. The story of the writer William Shakespeare was probably born on about April 23, 1564. The date that is traditionally given for his birth. He was John and Mary Shakespeare's oldest child. Their first 2 children, both girls, and did not live beyond infancy, growing up as the big brother of the family. William had 3 younger brothers, Gilbert, Richard, and Edmund, and 2 younger sisters, Anna, who did at 7, and John, their father. John Shakespeare was a letterwork wood specialist in the soft white leather used for gloves and similar items. A professor's and businessman, he married Mary Arden of the prominent Arden family. John rose to local offices in Stratford, becoming an alderman, and eventually the William was 5. The two believed much like a mayor not long after that. However, John Shakespeare stopped back from public life. We don't know why. Shakespeare, as the son of a landing Stratford citizen, almost certainly attended Stratford's grammar school. Like all such schools, its curriculum consisted of the intense emphasis on the Latin classes, including memorizing, writing, and acting classic Latin plays. Shakespeare most likely until about age 1550, a few years after he left school in late 1582, William Shakespeare married Annie Hathaway. She was already expecting their firstborn child, Susanna, which was a fairly common situation at the time. When they married, Annie was 26 and William was 18. Annie grew up just outside Stratford in the village of Sottree. After marrying, she spent the rest of her life in Stratford. In early 1585, the couple had twins, Judith and Hannah, completing the family in the years ahead. Anna and the children lived in Stratford while Shakespeare worked in London, although we don't know when he moved there. Some later observers have suggested that this separation and the couple's relatively few children were signs of the stagnant marriage, but we don't know what we don't know that either. Someone pursuing a theatre career had no choice but to work in London and marry branches of the Shakespeare and small families. Shakespeare's only son Hamlet died in 1596 at the age of 11. His older daughter Susanna later married a well-to-do Stratford doctor, John Holt. Their daughter Elizabeth, Shakespeare's first grandchild, was born in 58 in 6060, just months before his death. Shakespeare's daughter Judith married Thomas Quincy, a Stanford Wigner. The family subsequently died out, leaving not direct descendants of Shakespeare. Shakespeare prospered financially from his partnership in the Lord Chamberlain's Men, the latter King's Men, as well as from his writing and acting. He invested much of his wealth greatly in the real estate purchase in Stafford and bought the second largest house in town, Newcastle, in 1597. Among the last plays that Shakespeare worked on the West, the two notable Kingsmen, which he wrote with a frequent collaborator, John Flander, most likely in 60 He died on April 23, 6060, the traditional date of birthday, though his present birth date in unknown. We also do not know because of his death. His brother-in-law had died a week early, which could imply infectious disease, but Shakespeare Haley might have had a longer than sleep. The memorial bust of Shakespeare at Holy Trinity Church in Stratford found thick likeness because it was approved by people who knew him. The other such likeness is the epigraphy by Martin Dos in the 6023 first folio edition of Shakespeare's plays, produced 7 years after his death by his friends and colleagues from the Kingsmen. The other literary operator, much ado about nothing, Julius Caesar, Hamlet, King Lear, Macbeth, Sonnet, and The Tempest. Synopsis: Romeo and Juliet, an age-old vendetta between two powerful families erupt into bloodshed. A group of Max takes raise future conflict by gathering and Capulet party. A young love-sick Romeo Montague falls intensely in love with Juliet Capulet, who is to marry her father's choice. He county Paris with the help of Juliet's nurse. The woman argues for the couple of marry the next day, but Romeo's attempts to have a stiff fight leads to the death of Juliet's own cousin. Tybalt, for which Romeo is banished in a desperate attempt for the reunited with Romeo. Juliet follows the fierce plot and fakes her own deed. He message files to reach Romeo and believing Juliet did. He takes his life in her tomb. Juliet wakes to find Romeo's corpse beside her and kills herself. The grieving family agree to end their film. Similarities. One of the similarities between Shakespeare and his works is his brilliant use of the English language. He is able to create beautiful and phonetic sentences and combines unusual words to create dramatic effect in addiction. Shakespeare also show the good and bad human side of the characters in his works. This can be seen in plays such as Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet, where he shows the internal and external conflict that the main character experience. Difference. Um, the difference between Shakespeare and his work is that he lived in a different era that than the stories he wrote. Even though the themes in his works are still relevant today, the context and social values that existed at that time were very different from today. In addition, Shakespeare also wrote his works to be staged in the theater, so there is a difference in the way the story is told between reading the script and watching the show live. Analysis characters Romeo the son and heir and Montague and Lady Montague. A young man of about season, Romeo is handsome, intelligent, and sensitive, though impulsive and immature. His idealism and passion make him an extremely likable character. He lives in the middle of the Juliet, found between his family and the Capulets, but he is not at all interested in violence. He is only interested in love. At the beginning of the play, he is madly in love with a woman named Rosalind, but the instant he lays eyes on Juliet, he falls in love with her and forget Rosalind. Thus, Shakespeare gives us various reasons to question how real uh, Romeo's new love is, but Romeo goes to extremes to protect the seriousness of the feelings. He secretly married Juliet, the daughter of his father's worst enemy. He happily takes a bus for Juliet, and he would rather die life without his beloved Romeo, and is also an affectionate and devoted friend to his relative Benvolio, Marcio, and Pierre. Juliet, the daughter of Capulet and Lady Capulet, a beautiful 13 years old, Juliet begins the play as a naive child who has talked little about love and marriage, but she grows up quickly upon falling in love with Romeo, the son of her family's great enemy, because he is a girl in an aristocratic family. She has none of his freedom. Romeo has to roam around the city, climb over walls in the middle of the night, or get into sword fight nerveless. She shows amazing courage in thirsting. He enters like the indicator to Romeo, even refusing to believe the worst reports about him after the gets involved in the fight with her cousin. Juliet, closet friend and confident, is her nurse, though she is willing to shut the nurse out of her life the moment of the nurse turn against Romeo. Analysis story. Romeo and Juliet is play about the conflict between the main character's love with its transformative power and the darkness, hearted, and selfishness presented by their families found to the two teenage lovers. Romeo and Juliet fall in love the first time they see each other, but their families found regrets they remain enemies over the course of the play. The lovers powerful, the stars decently classed with their families equally powerful, hatred of each other entirely. We may expect that the lover will prove the unify force that united the families, where the play comedy, the families would see the light of the reason and resolve. Their found Romeo and Juliet would have a public wedding, and everyone would live happily ever after. But the mountain couple is too powerful for the lovers to come over. The world of the play is an imperfect place. Their freedom from everything except pure love in is an unrealistic goals until the characters love the film, but at the price of the life. Message of the story: the film between the Montagues and the Capulets lies at the heart of the event. The expressed tragedy plays Romeo and Juliet, the tragedy and senseless perspective by the bad boat between the two important families in Verona is the message sent to the reader or audience member, and that happens that is negative is based on the long-standing hearted between the two families. This message is made clear in the prologue before we see the events that transfer. Two households both alike in dignity in Fairy Verona, where we lay our skin from Annie's Broadgate break to Neomentini, where Gilbert makes civil heads unclean. So this is my uh, explain about the authors Romeo and Juliet. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.